Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Barbie Talks. I'm of course your real and raw influencer, the Brown Barbie, giving you everything real and raw. And today is one of those real and raw conversations. So if you are looking forward to hearing more and hearing this episode, don't forget to follow this channel. If you are on YouTube, hey boy, hey girl, hey, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you can see more, see a little more of my life. Always check the link in our descriptions because that has everything. Our TikTok, our Instagram, our Patreon, our Apple playlist, everything. So everything, and the book club. We did not forget about the book club. So everything you need is in that one little link. So if you guys are excited as I am to get into this topic, let's get into it. Today we'll be talking about, is the devil real? Now, I want to do a very big disclaimer before we start this episode that there are actual victims, and that is not what this episode is directed at all. There are true victims, sexual assault victims, domestic violence victims, and the list goes on. My heart goes out to you guys, and I send you nothing but positive and uplifting energy every day for your situations to change and for you to have an amazing life, because that is what you deserve. So please keep an open mind throughout this topic and throughout this discussion that those are the individuals we are not talking about, as well as if you are one of those individuals yourself, I am not directing it towards that, but you guys will get exactly what I'm getting at right now.
Everything ain't the devil. Sometimes it's just you. Hold on, let me cook. Too many times people be quick to blame somebody they can't see but won't never look in the mirror and be like, dang, maybe it's me. That's cool. God can work with that. But when you sit here, the devil did this, the devil did that, God is like, what did you do? The devil ain't attacking your health. You just don't make good eating choices. You want to get delivered from this ailment, but God is like, I've given you the strength to deliver yourself. Eat different. I'm telling you. There's so much healing in foods, but I ain't gonna go down that route. You think the devil attacking your finances, but you don't know how to manage money. You keep praying to God for more money, but you ain't asking for more wisdom. A lot of y'all think God ain't hearing you because he ain't giving you what you want, but it's not that he's not going to give it to you. You just not asking the right thing. Once you pray for more wisdom, then that money going to come because now you know what to do with it. He'll make you a master over many if you manage that few when he give it to you. The devil's not attacking your marriage. You don't know how to be quiet or listen. Think about it. I'm not saying the devil don't do anything, but he sure don't do everything. We got more power over him. Think about it. He only got the power that we give him. Stop talking about him. Look at you. All right? The devil not attacking your mental health. You keep being in environments God done showed you won't good for you. You keep answering the phone for people that you know gonna drain you. I love you, but God love you more.
Every episode we start off with a quote, and today's quote is, never be bitter, become better. A testimony is a pain that has been reassigned, by Johnny Dent Jr. I always say, me and my friends always say, your testimony is always stronger than your test. And if you start to gain this foundation of life, this is going to really help you navigate your life from this point on, as well as understand this topic. So just remember, your testimony is always stronger than your test. What does that mean? Your struggles that you have went through, that you have overcame, are stronger than when you actually went through them. Have you ever met someone and they told you their life story, they told you what they've been through, and you're just like, wow, I don't know if I could have went through that, or like, wow, I would have never known. Your testimony is stronger than your test. So before we dive into the actual conversation of air quotes devil, in this episode, I'll be referring to the devil as an omniscient presence. I don't really like to label it the devil so much. I think it has a really negative and low vibrational tone, so I'm really going to refrain. But for the sake of getting our topic out there, that is what I will be referring to that creature as. So, as we dive deeper into the podcast in this episode, you guys always hear me talk about moving with intention. Always talk about intentionality, intention this, intention that. And you're probably like, well, what does that even look like and what does that mean? The Oxford Dictionary defines intention as an aim or plan. So, translating this into your self-growth and self-empowerment journey, this is being mindful of how you're showing up, and not in the way of being socially acceptable as a societal preference, but are you showing up the best way that you want to show up in the society? Are your boundaries aligned with how you actually feel inside? Are you actually being perceived to how you are on the inside and your thoughts and how you view yourself as a person? And most importantly, are those good qualities showing? And as I'm diving into this, understand when I'm saying life is a mirror, these are symmetrical. This is why life is a mirror. This is why when you change your tone of voice or you shuffle your words or you start to move different in life, your life changes as well. This baseline concept is exactly why your life is a mirror from within. So when you move with intention, this has a massive domino effect of how people perceive you. So now let's say if previously you weren't moving with intention, you kind of were just going with society, following the statistic, being very comfortable, making sure everyone is so comfortable around you and you're never comfortable, constantly making sure everyone's good before yourself. The list goes on. If this is how you used to function on side A, now if we move to side B and you start to align yourself with having strong boundaries, sticking up for what you believe in, doing hobbies and tasks that you enjoy, making sure you're happy, and everything that you feel like you need to do to actually enjoy this life, do you guys see how side A and side B are quite different and how that'll give you a different result in life? And I'm going to let that sit in. Understand that side A is going to be our conditioned side, and side B is going to be our enlightened side, the side that is in their highest energy, mirroring their higher self, i.e., God-like energy. And it's important to really understand that. And I know you guys probably like, girl, you haven't talked about what you said this topic was at all yet. What are you talking about? What you rambling about? Listen to what I am saying. Intentionality is the baseline for your growth. If you are constantly making everyone comfortable around you, you are constantly being comfortable in society and moving in a way that's not aligning with how you really want to live your life and how you want people to perceive you, how are you even going to attract these things? And sometimes we miss out on a lot of opportunities because we live in this side A so strong and we think side B is so impossible, when you move to side B and you start to move with intentionality and you start to have those strong boundaries, when you start to do things you enjoy, when you start to live for yourself, you start to see how life actually molds itself into your playground, which is why life is a mirror from within. You can't hold super strong boundaries and get the opposite result. That just doesn't make sense, because now think of it as, horses can't see from their peripheral vision. They only have tunnel vision. So as you start to move with intentionality, you start to get those blinders on the side, and now you don't have peripheral vision. You're not worrying about how this person feels on your left or right back corner, because you're just worrying about the front. You're worrying about you. You're worrying about how you can get to this end point in life. You're worrying about your aim. You're worrying about your plan. You're worrying about your goal. So take a moment today and ask yourself, did I move with intention today? Did I make myself feel comfortable, even if that means having to stick up for yourself, set a certain boundary? Maybe someone else felt uncomfortable with how you had to put your foot down. Did you move with intent today? And which is going to result in, did you have a fulfilling day? You can't sit here. I don't think anyone can tell me they're having a fulfilling day that they lived for everyone else when they weren't intentional. No, you have great fulfilling days when those are the days you're moving intentionally. You have your goals, you have your to-do list, you have your checklist, and you do it all. Aren't those your fulfilling days? And aren't those the days you're moving with intent? That just clicked for me. When you have your big to-do list and you get it all done, those are the days you're moving with intention, and those are your most fulfilling days. Those are your most happy days. So why can't you do that in your everyday life? So on the scope of these omniscient presences, such as God, our higher self, the universe, the devil, negative spirits, I guess you can also associate with the devil, we have to understand the baseline. God gave us free will. And with this free will, we also have the devil, or these negative spirits. So I want to emphasize that there's a very big difference. There are true demonic things, evil things, nasty people, the list goes on, compared to this normality we've kind of set in our society of what a devil is or devilish things that come in our life. And it's very important to decipher the two. And we'll get into the actual deciphering the two, which might make some people a little upset, but it's the truth. And it's important to understand these differences because this is how that intentionality directly correlates with this, right? So a lot of times we want to say anytime something that doesn't work in our favor or that is nasty in a way of, I actually don't want to use the verbiage nasty. Let's just say when something doesn't happen our way or someone is put in our life that is not the best influence, we immediately want to label them, oh, the devil put this in my life. They're the devil. But let's look in the scope of moving with intentionality. How can you move intentional while simultaneously placing blame on something else? Just let that sit for a second, because it's a paradox. It's hard. Some situations it kind of can work, but it's really reaching. So when we allow this omniscient force to be labeled as the devil, we now give this said omniscient power so much power over our life. What am I saying? What am I talking about? I'm using a lot of extra words. Let's say this in English. When we label something that does not happen in our favor as the devil, we then actually give the devil, in air quotes, the power, because now we've let this source take so much control over my life. Oh, this is the devil. The devil put this in my life. No. Let's identify this, right? Let's identify this. There are so many times we ask God, our higher self, the universe, however you would like to refer, for signs. We ask him, oh my gosh, like, should I be with this person? Should I stay with this person? Is this job for me? We ask all of these open-ended kind of yes or no questions, the baseline. And then when we get these signs, we immediately want to say, this is the devil. Hold on. Is this the devil or is this your sign? Is this the devil or is this a scenario to make you stand firmly on your boundaries, stand into this persona you want to be, and never attract this again? Is this the devil or is this a lesson that is going to help push and mold you for something for the future? Now, I believe I kind of lightly sprinkled on this topic a few episodes prior, but it's important to really drop that blame mentality. When you constantly blame everyone or an omniscient force for the results of your life, you rob yourself from actually having that fulfilling and happy life. It's the same concept of when they say forgiving isn't for the person, it's for me. I'm releasing that energy, I'm releasing that burden. That's the same thing with blame. When you know that these are results of your actions and you could 100% own up to it, as well as 100% sit back and analyze, okay, how is this bettering me for the future? How is this, I said I want to achieve this, so did I come across this problem, so now when I face that in the future in a bigger room, I know how to handle myself? And when you look at it in that perspective, I personally feel, this could be opinionated, it makes that discernment shine. It makes it shine because you're able to take these very tough and critical situations and really identify, oh, wow, that happened for this reason. And I seen a post where it was like, I can't be mad when I got a full plate of food when I said I wanted to eat. And it's true, such a baseline, cute example, but we can't ask for these very big and prominent things, but yet we're not even taking these little tests and seeing how it's molding us for the future. For example, with my podcast with me, I can't be upset if I'm put in scenarios that is testing my patience, testing my discernment, testing how I can carry myself when someone disagrees with my statement. I can't just be vulgar, outlashing and being so arg, because how does that align with your future? How does that align with you wanting to be a person of reference for people to become their best self, for them to learn that they need nervous system regulation, for them to, lean on you for advice? If you can't carry yourself in this manner, how do you expect the universe to give you that? You can't. So it's the same thing. You can't ask for a new house if you're not cleaning your house, if you're not paying your mortgage on time. How does that correlate with being blessed with a bigger new house? It doesn't. So once again, like I said previously, this baseline of moving with intention is really the start of this positive domino effect that then leads you to be able to get to this point of understanding, like, that happened for this reason, therefore I see I'm aligned with my path. Therefore, I see this is molding me for this dream I want. And as I said, the irony, it's so crazy, because when you break down this stuff in this manner, there's so much irony in it, because you have to understand this stuff is false, you guys. Your limiting beliefs were given from your parents, which those were from your parents' limiting beliefs. This stuff is false, right? Therefore, it's obvious there's going to be irony in these theories, because they're not real. There's clauses for everything, because this stuff isn't real. These feelings aren't real. This life that has been naturally curated isn't real, because they want us to be comfortable. They want us to be compliant. But when you rub your eyes and you wake up and you see how things actually form, and how when you start to change and shift your perspective, your life changes, you see how this stuff is not real. So what I'm talking about, the irony is, if you constantly blame everything on the devil, not only would you attract that's the irony. Oh my God, everything's the devil now. Now I'm just getting devils. That's also, like we said before, it's your lessons, trying to get you out that cycle, trying to wake you up. God's giving you those signs. God is doing, perfect quote. There's I don't know what scripture it was in or what's the quote, but this man was in the middle of the ocean, and finally God came and picked him up, and he's like, why didn't you save me? Like, I was asking for you, I was praying for you. He's like, well, I sent you 3-4 boats. You didn't get on them. Sometimes we want to neglect these signs, and we want to neglect the truth because either it's hard to bear, or we just don't want to come to terms, but it's there. It's there. And that's why you'll receive either that, or you'll just generally receive the opposite treatment. Like I was saying before we got into our sidebar rant, not only will you receive that, but then you can receive the opposite treatment and self-sabotage, because you're just so normalized to that level of, I don't want to say trauma, but it is a trauma bonding thing. It's a comfort. It's something you found comfort in. This is your normality. This is what you're used to. And then you put yourself in a constant roundabout of this same feeling, and then you say the devil's taking over your life. Isn't that crazy? And it's a crazy concept that we see with Neville Goddard's teaching. What is one of his books? I think The Imagination of, let's see, The Feeling of Secret, and then The Feeling of Secret, Out of This World, Awaken Imagination. Awaken Imagination is probably one of my favorite books, because exactly the concept that I just gave you, all this irony, he breaks down in the opposite. And I just don't understand why, if we can attract these things negatively and we can be in this cycle negatively, why can't we do it positively? Why is it insane or impossible to dream big, think big, want these big accomplishments, work hard, manifest that, and you have people, oh, you're crazy, oh, she can, how? But yet you're so content with constantly posting on Facebook or saying to people, the devil's in my life, the devil won't leave. you know what? Maybe you're the devil. And I know that just was such a bold statement, but I just felt like I had to say that because I do think sometimes we can be our own devil. We can be our own self-sabotager for these good things, these actual powerful experiences we have, but we constantly want to self-sabotage it. We constantly want to just turn the other way to these green flags, which then results in us going through this constant circle of trauma, and then we say the devil's in our life. Isn't that crazy? So our TNT question for today is, are you ready to take full accountability of your actions? And like I told you guys before, the irony of when you say it's the devil and all of these things, you actually let the devil win in two parts. The first way you let him win is because the devil doesn't have any power over you unless you give him the power. And you just gave him the power by saying, oh my God, the devil brought this into my life. And the second insane way you actually attract the devil is because now he knows your weakness. Now you're saying this is the devil. Now he immediately knows how he's going to attack you. Now he knows immediately what test to put in front of you, who to put in front of you, what to put in front of you to make you step away from your path, steer away from your path. And once again, it's these baseline concepts that are just so like, yeah, you're right. But it's true. And that's why, circling back to the theme of this video, moving with intention is so imperative because it allows you to gain this strong sense of discernment. So now you can kind of peep when these moments are happening. You're peeping when you're not moving in a certain way and the devil, in air quotes, or these tests are coming about you, and you know how to handle it in a proper way. So I know that was a lot. That was a lot. That was a lot. The biggest things you need to take from this is moving with intention, taking responsibility for your actions, your decisions, and it's very hard. I emphasize this almost every video, every other video, and I'm going to continue to do it because I never want anyone to think that I'm saying this is an easy process, this is a minuscule process, or like, ugh, you're not at this point yet, it's so easy. No, the hardest part is understanding this is the result of my actions, and it's very dark. It is very heavy. But when you sit in that and you start to just take accountability for your actions and you don't place this blame and say it's the devil or good things never happen to me, and you allow these outside sources to take so much control of your life, when you finally take that control back, it is so empowering. You realize that your life is really a mirror from within. And as we get deeper into the episodes, we will steer away from these baseline concepts. And as we get into the book club, you will see that these topics are the same. I'm probably on my 7th or 8th, maybe like 10th audiobook, and it's like they're saying the same thing. It's like now I feel okay, we need to get another type of topic because it feels like a broken record. So although I'm giving you guys this information and it seems like a broken record, there's truth to it. Any book you're reading on this topic is saying the same thing, no matter what the author looks like, no matter where they're from, no matter their age. This is the stuff that starts within. And it starts with moving with intentionality, being honest with yourself, being candid, doing shadow work, journaling. It's the hardest part isn't getting the information, it's doing the work and giving yourself grace throughout that time period to allow yourself to grow, to allow yourself to evolve. We've been so conditioned our whole life by our parents' fears, societal fears, just fears we develop on our own, and it limits us naturally. So rewiring your brains from all that is going to be exhausted. There's going to be days where you're not moving with intentionality every day, and that's fine. There's going to be days where it's like, ooh, the day really got me, and that's fine. But once again, even you knowing that is showing that you are ahead. You have to understand I just sometimes I have to really take a pause because I'm saying the same thing in a different format, the same thing, different font. And I hope that this stuff does resonate because this is real. There are people in their 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 100s, realizing what I'm telling you now. This is not a conspiracy. This is not a hoax. Like, this is real. And when you stay conditioned in this manner, they win. That's when the devil wins. When you don't wake up, when you don't do that work, when you don't set those boundaries, that's when it works. That's when the devil wins. We're all blessed with this thing called free will. And although free will has its pros and its cons, the pros are we can create a life we absolutely love. Obviously, we will have to do the work, whatever shape or form that looks, but you can create your own persona. You can be who you want to be. You can do what you want to do. And that's honestly a really big gift. And also, taking those mistakes and being able to learn from it. If, hear me out, if the devil was so real how some people want to make it seem, then you could just, everybody would be in this constant circle of trauma. Everybody. There would be no hope for a better life. There would be no millionaires. There would be no billionaires. Like, this would be a miserable life. But that's not true. There's an other side to the coin. And it's the inner work. It's the work from within. It's the seeing yourself for more. It's the believing in yourself. It's understanding you're you. How does it feel to be you? And although we get super deep in this pod, keep your light heart spirit throughout this time of self-empowerment, enlightenment, self-growth, however you want to word it. It can get dark. It can get very dark. It can get really tough as well. It's a very big point where you're isolated as well. So just understand, keep that lighthearted spirit, do the things you enjoy, try new things, put yourself out there, and just also enjoy what life gives you. Because if you constantly work so hard on improving yourself, not giving yourself grace, you're just going to also put yourself in a different kind of misery bubble. So I always emphasize this. Give yourself grace. Mental health is one of the most important things probably in the world. And as you guys know, previously, I just switched my major to psych because I thought, doctor, but the real help is within. People need help with their mind, the mindset shift, understanding how their brain is functioning, understanding why they're doing the things they're doing. It's great to get surgery. It's great to be able to prescribe medicine, but that stuff don't matter if you are not healed from within. So I say that to say, make sure you're healing yourself within, but also enjoy this process. It is a beautiful, beautiful process. It's hard, it's strenuous, it's tough. Why am I emphasizing this? I'm emphasizing this because the topic I just brought up today was very heavy. And that's just no doubt about it. It's very heavy, it's very controversial, and once you start to do that in your day-to-day life, it's going to be hard. I'm not going to lie to you. The darkest part of your enlightenment journey is dealing with those shadows and dealing with those consequences of your decisions and dealing with, dang, this is how my life is because X, Y, and Z. But once you get past that, your testimony is stronger than your test. What was our quote this episode? Never be bitter. Become better. A testimony is pain that has been reassigned. Never be bitter. Become better. A testimony is pain that has been reassigned. Do you know how much power is in that? I want you guys to understand that there is another side of life. And I do feel like I'm kind of saying the same circle and rambling a bit, but I want this to resonate. This is your only life. This is the only time you have to make the mistakes, learn and grow from them. This is the only time you have to eat your favorite ice cream only time you have to spend with your family, the only time you have to just physically experience life. So what are you going to do with that? What are you going to do with that gift? Thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode of Barbie Talks. You guys already know I am super grateful on how much we are growing. I can actually get super emotional. We are getting more and more people ready to wake their mind and elevate their life. I do not have a name for you guys yet, but hopefully I will get it soon. Like I said, do not forget to follow this channel as well as subscribe to my YouTube channel at The Brown Barbie with one E. If you have any specific topics that you would like me to talk about or to touch upon, or any situation that you would like me to give my 20-something 2 cents on, you can email me at Barbie Talks Podcast, Barbie with 2 E's, Barbie Talks Podcast at gmail.com, and I will answer in the next pod episode. Don't forget to check the link in the bio for all of your needs of our Patreon, Instagram, TikTok, book club, audiobooks, everything of the essentials to become enlightened and wake your mind and to elevate your life. This has been another episode of Barbie Talks, and bye.